It's a great pleasure to talk to you, Charles Fuller, on behalf of the Cherry Lane Theatre and the Mentor Project. And you've just come off mentoring the Belle of Belfast with Nate Rufus Edelman. And we want to talk to you about it.
Sure.
So I'd like to start off with what attracted you to Nate's play?
I think I said earlier, I've been with the mentoring project since its early days. And I've had, with Nate, two other playwrights, Christopher Shin and Brett Williams. Both their plays were serious plays. And I thought this time what I would do is look for a serious play that had some underpinnings that I felt were serious, but at the same time it had some laughter in it. And one of the things about Belle of Belfast when I first read it was I laughed as I read it. And I thought also, because I was born and raised a Catholic, to talk about priests and the kinds of things that went on in the rectory and with people in the confessional and all those things drew me, quite frankly, to the play. And I thought that Nate had handled all this with grace, quite frankly, and with humor. And so I wanted to work on it. In fact, and in addition to that, I thought it was the best play that I read, quite frankly.
What aspect of the play did you feel needed the most work?
I, as a playwright, believe that plays ought to play, which means motion. And when I first read the play, I saw it as something in which two people sat down and talked to each other and didn't move very much. And for me, that was something I wanted to talk to him about, to get these people up, to get these people moving, to get more life into these conversations that they were having as this play progressed. In addition to that, he had a good director who saw that the play needed more emotion in it. People don't sit down and talk to each other for 45 minutes to an hour, and you expect an audience to sit there and watch them do this for that period of time and call it a play. When I got into the theater, my thought was to make this thing actually play. And I wanted his work to play more than it was when I first read it.
How would you describe the play that you started with and the play that we saw tonight?
Oh, it's come a long way. It really has come quite a distance from where it was when I first read it to where it is at the moment. It's, I guess the expression I could use, it's fatter. There's more meat on its bones. There's more to understand about the characters. They're not as thinly drawn as they were when I first picked up the play.
Could you describe the first few meetings with Nate? I mean, just a little bit. How did you? I mean, within the mentor, you have how many weeks to work on this play?
Oh God, we have a pretty long time.
We had like 3 months. Is it?
Yeah, I would say about 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even longer than that. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
We work generally because he lives in Los Angeles
Mm-hmm.
and I live in Philadelphia. We emailed each other and talked about the play as he made changes. I read the changes, got back to him, talked to him about what I thought it was, what I thought it needed. As I understand it, people here read the play as well and talked to him about it during that period of time. But what we did was to talk to each other. I sort of told Nate to relax. More than anything else, to relax. There's a moment in the writing of a play when the playwright needs to simply relax about what he's done or she's done and let the play sort of ferment, so to speak. The play will tell you over time what it needs. Any work, Norman Mailer says in his book, and I thought it was probably the most profound thing he said in his whole life, the work tells you where it needs to go. if you always come back to it and trust it. But you have to leave it for a while and not keep finagling with it. Let it sit. When you go back to it, it'll say, hey, here I am. This is where you ought to go. And the road will be very clear for you. And that's what I tried to get Nate to understand. I'm very confident about this play. I really was, right from the beginning. I thought this play was fantastic. And it's proven to be just that, as far as I'm concerned.
So you've done 3 mentor projects. What's your feeling about the whole effort that the Cherry Lane is?
I think it's a great effort. I think being able to reach out and find young playwrights and work with them and give them a venue like Cherry Lane is really an exceptional thing. I wish when I was a young playwright that this sort of thing was happening. It wasn't. There wasn't such a thing as mentoring projects or young playwrights workshops or anything of the sort.
When you wrote your first play, what was that experience like?
I was fortunate. John Lithgow's father, Arthur Lithgow, was the director of the theater at Princeton's Princeton McCarter Theater when I wrote my first play. They had he had decided that he wanted a brand new play to open his 40th season. And I wrote a play for him, and it opened his 40th season. And that began my life as a playwright.
What sort of theater do you see happening today that's of interest to you?
I'm not sure sometimes what I'm seeing. Theater is being influenced very much now by television. So a lot of what I see feels like television. What I don't find are things that engage us. And I'm not saying that these things aren't dramatic or melodramatic, rather, but they don't engage us in things that are larger than ourselves. They don't attack some of the things that human beings need to see. Love and emotion, that's more than just something that you can tie 2 lines to and say something smart or wise about. And what I don't see in the theater is a lot of depth, a lot of 3 dimension. I certainly see long and short, wide and skinny. But I don't see very much depth in what I'm watching on the stage right now.
How would you compare that to the theater that was being done in the 60s and 70s when you were getting started? How do you compare it to that time?
Well, to a certain extent, people had what they believed to be issues to deal with. And I think that theater was flooded with a new sense of ourselves, because I was a part of all that. But I think since then, and it doesn't mean that there aren't things that we can deal with at the moment, or issues that we can handle. But I think since then, we've gotten accustomed to things being solved rather quickly. As a nation, all of us, it doesn't matter where you are, where you're from, you'd like to see everything solved in a matter of minutes when we're looking at our literature or watching our plays or listening to our music, whatever, we want it right away. And I just think that ability of human beings to understand things in a much larger way has begun to disappear and dissipate. And I think the theater is a good reflection of that, what is disappearing from how we function with each other even.
Can I ask, what are you working on right now?
A play for a Cherry Lane Theater.
Right, because
a brand new play.
There's an outgrowth to our mentor program,
Yes.
which is we're trying to commission
Yes.
a play, and we're commissioning you for a play.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a play called American Story, and I'm working on it as we speak. Right in here.
And I gotta say, this is absolutely terrific, and it was really
Thank you.
interesting hearing what you had to say.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.